Today we are actually going to be talking about tips for being non-binary. This again is a question that I often get in my DMs on Instagram. Do you have any tips for being non-binary? So my advice about this is to, if you feel like a label will be helpful for you, then go ahead and attach yourself to that label, but don't feel like you have to stick to it, and you're able to change. You can evolve. I have had that experience myself in my own journey. I did identify as straight, even though I never really was. I identified as bi for a minute, even though I actually was never bi. And then I identified as a lesbian, which is probably the closest terminology for my sexuality, because I like girls. And the non-binary thing also came around in an odd way, because I always kind of identified as this androgynous person, and I sort of evolved to feel, okay, this androgynous word is the right word for me. But then I was like, oh, the new word that the kids are using these days is non-binary, and I think that makes more sense. So things are going to evolve and change, and I would say it's really important to just have that space, have that openness to your own evolution as a person. Number 7 is binding. I'm actually going to do an entire YouTube episode on how to bind properly. My general advice about binding is make sure you're being safe about it. Don't be wearing a binder more than 8 hours in a day. Definitely not exercising. The reason why I personally don't really wear binders that much is because of breathing. It restricts your breathing. And I already have a hard time breathing for other reasons. So I typically don't like to make that harder than it needs to be.
The video was called 8 Tips for Being Non-Binary, and as we saw, it was going through labels, how to use chest binders, etc. Not only is this wildly inappropriate to be shown in schools, but it was being shown to 6th grade students. It's really concerning that these students are being encouraged to use things like chest binders, not only because it's extremely confusing and damaging to their mental and physical health, but also because, as the host said, it literally restricts your breathing. This is just yet another example of schools pushing crazy gender ideology on kids and normalizing gender confusion.